Hey guys, it's Fnac Guide, and today I thought we'd compare the iPhone 14 Pro Max right there to the current flagship, which is the iPhone 17 Pro Max, which is right there. So if you're thinking about upgrading from an iPhone 14 Pro Max, this should be helpful as we'll be comparing and contrasting all the changes between the two. Let's get into it. So, one thing to keep in mind when purchasing is the price and where you can purchase the device from. So, to start things off, you cannot buy the iPhone 14 Pro Max brand new anymore. But you can either buy it used from Apple or a third-party retailer. However, when this was new, it started at $1,100 and went up to $1,600. And you had the option of 120 gigabytes, which is what we have here, as well as 256, 512, and 1 terabyte. The iPhone 17 Pro Max, on the other hand, starts at $1,200 and goes up to $2,000. It starts at 256 gigabytes of storage with a 512 gigabyte option, which is what we have here, as well as a 1 terabyte option and a 2 terabyte option, with the 2 terabyte option being exclusive for 17 Pro Max. Now, in terms of colors, the 14 Pro Max is available in Space Black, which is what we have here, as well as silver, gold, and deep purple. The 17 Pro Max, on the other hand, is available in only 3 color choices, those being deep blue, which is what we have here, as well as cosmic orange and silver. In terms of build quality and design, these are pretty different, as in there are some pretty big differences. The 14 Pro Max has stainless steel side rails, and they're polished as well, meaning they're a fingerprint magnet. And we get Ceramic Shield 1 on the front glass, but the back glass does not have any ceramic shield at all. And we still have the ringer switch on the side, and yes, it is dirty. So that's where it is, right there. And the 5G millimeter wave antenna is right here. And down here we get the lightning port, as the iPhone 14 series is the last iPhone to get a lightning port. Now moving on to the iPhone 17 series, specifically the iPhone 17 Pro Max, this has moved away from stainless steel to aluminum, as in this is an aluminum unibody. The front glass has Ceramic Shield 2, which Apple says is 3 times more resistant to scratches and 50% more tough against drops compared to Ceramic Shield 1. And the camera island / plateau, whatever you want to call it, is wider than on the 14 Pro Max, obviously. And as you can see, the flash and LiDAR are on one side opposite the cameras, and so is the microphone. That's one aesthetic difference. And you may also notice that most of the back here is aluminum, except this piece of glass here, which does have Ceramic Shield 1. Now, on to actual changes, besides these aesthetic changes and whatnot. Instead of a ringer switch, we get an action button, which defaults to the same function as the ringer switch, but it's more customizable. And instead of a Lightning port, we get a color matched USB-C port. And over here, we get the camera control button, which is where the 5G millimeter wave antenna was on the 14 Pro Max. That has now been moved up here. And then we get antenna lines here, and then surrounding the camera island or plateau, as well as down here. So here's a quick demonstration of the camera control button. I can just press here. You can set to press once and it'll go, or press twice. I have set to press twice to avoid accidental presses. You can zoom in or out using it, and then press in to take an actual photo or video. Also, why does this have a USB-C port and that have a Lightning port? The reason why Apple switched to a USB-C port is because the EU's common charger law took effect in late 2024, and this actually mandates that small, medium, and portable electronic devices sold in the EU to have a USB-C port as their universal port for wired charging. And I believe that if Apple had it their way, this here would still have a Lightning port. I also believe that USB-C does benefit the 17 Pro because this has USB 3.0 and it can transfer data up to 10 gigabits per second, whereas that with its Lightning port can only transfer data at up to 480 megabits per second, which is USB 2 standards, even though the regular iPhone 17 can transfer data at the same speed as that. So if you're upgrading from an iPhone 14 Pro to a standard iPhone 17, you will not be missing out on much in terms of data transfer speeds. I should also mention that the iPhone 17 Pro's speaker and microphone locations have been swapped, so now the speaker is located here, the microphone is located there. Whereas on the 14 Pro, the speaker is located here, the microphone there. So in terms of size and weight, starting with the thickness first, the 14 Pro Max and 17 Pro Max appear to have the same thickness, but it would be understandable if you thought the 17 Pro Max was thicker simply because of the redesigned island/plateau. But now coming down here, the 17 Pro Max is taller and it may be slightly wider than the 14 Pro Max. Just putting them together. In terms of both devices' weight, because the 17 Pro Max uses aluminum, it comes in at 8.22 ounces or 233 grams, whereas the iPhone 14 Pro Max comes in at 8.47 ounces or 240 grams. Interestingly enough, for those who don't know, the iPhone 14 Pro Max was the last iPhone to use stainless steel. I think it was part of a broader move by Apple to move away from stainless steel. And then with the iPhone 15 Pro and 16 Pro, they used titanium. And then with the 17 Pro, they went back to aluminum. In terms of battery and charging, the iPhone 14 Pro Max has a 4,323 milliamp hour battery, though this one has degraded quite a bit over 3 years of use, whereas the iPhone 17 Pro Max has a 5,088 milliamp hour battery if you have an eSIM only model like I do. If you have a model with a SIM tray, the capacity decreases to 4,823 milliamp hours. So something to keep in mind is that the iPhone 17 Pro and Pro Max are eSIM only in the United States, Canada, Mexico, the Virgin Islands, Guam, Bahrain, Japan, Kuwait, Oman, Qatar, Saudi Arabia, and the UAE. The eSIM only variant of the 14 Pro Max and the 14 Pro were exclusively sold in the United States, and comparatively, the 17 Pro Max takes advantage of the lack of SIM tray by using that space inside to put a bigger battery in there. Whereas the 14 Pro Max just wastes space by putting a piece of plastic where the SIM tray would be. As for charging, both phones have MagSafe, but the 14 Pro Max charges at around 15 watts, and it can charge to 50% in around 30 minutes using a 20 watt adapter via Lightning. And the 17 Pro Max has 25 watt MagSafe using Qi 2 25 watt chargers, and it can charge to 50% in around 30 minutes with a 30 watt adapter or higher, though if you use a 40 watt adapter via USB-C, charging to 50% can take place in around 20 minutes. And that's quite surprising with it being a larger battery. When it comes to the displays, the iPhone 14 Pro Max has a 6.7-inch display with a resolution of 2796 by 1209 pixels at 460 pixels per inch. Peak brightness is 2000 nits, whereas the iPhone 17 Pro Max has a 6.9-inch display with a resolution, why does it keep going to sleep? With a resolution of 2868 by 1320 pixels at also 460 pixels per inch. And peak brightness here is 3000 nits. And both have always on displays, and both also have adaptive refresh rates up to 120 Hertz. So here's basically the differences in terms of screen size. They did shrink down the bezels on the 17 Pro Max to get that extra 0.2 of an inch in there. Not to mention it's also taller than the 14 Pro Max. So it is physically bigger, but also it has smaller bezels. Now as for performance, the iPhone 14 Pro Max has the A16 Bionic chip with 6 GB of RAM, which is half of the RAM you find over here in the iPhone 17 Pro Max, which has the A19 Pro chip with 12 GB of RAM. You'll notice this with more intensive tasks, such as using the camera or exiting certain apps and going back into those same apps. And typically, that app or apps will still be open on the 17 Pro Max, whereas they'll be closed on the 14 Pro Max sometimes. Also, due to the additional RAM over here, and also due to the updated neural engine over here, we can do things with Apple Intelligence which we can't do over here, because Apple Intelligence is not available on the 14 Pro Max. Now, Apple Intelligence is a suite of AI-powered features built into iOS, so long as you have iOS 18.1 or newer, which from the box, the iPhone 17 Pro has iOS 26, so nothing to worry about there. It'll combine on-device processing and server models to provide text generation, image creation, and advanced assistant capabilities. Examples include visual intelligence, writing tools, image playground, photo enhancement tools such as cleanup, live translation, and now for iOS and new for iOS 27, an AI-powered Siri. If you're someone who exports a lot of 4K video from iMovie, or you play a lot of games, you might notice the phone getting hot. When doing anything demanding, such as exporting 4K video or playing games, the iPhone 17 Pro Max will dissipate the heat more because it has a vapor chamber, whereas the 14 Pro Max is not. With the 14 Pro, a lot of the heat will be concentrated around the processor, which is somewhere around here, whereas the 17 Pro Max mostly just dissipates the heat throughout. So, if you're someone who does something like exporting 4K video or playing games, you're not going to see your screen's brightness suddenly drop on the 17 Pro Max like you would on the 14 Pro Max. Now, moving on to connectivity. The 17 Pro Max features Apple's N1 chip, which features Bluetooth 6, Wi-Fi 7, and Thread, whereas the iPhone 14 Pro Max features Bluetooth 5.3 and Wi-Fi 6. The 14 Pro Max features Apple's U1 ultra-wideband chip, whereas the iPhone 17 Pro Max features Apple's next generation ultra-wideband chip, which is unofficially called the U2 chip, though I imagine Apple doesn't want to call it that because they want to avoid a legal battle with the band U2. Both have the same intrusion protection rating, that being IP68 for 6 meters for 3 minutes, and beyond that, everything else is the same. Other than Apple Intelligence, iOS support is the same, and Apple's been pretty good with providing 5 to 7 years of software updates, even for the iPhone 11 series. Though the latest features won't be available because the processor either can't handle it, or it's an Apple Intelligence feature, or it can't handle the graphic intensity of liquid glass. All that with the iPhone 17 Pro Max makes it more future-proof, plus it's faster and future updates could slow down the 14 Pro Max a little bit, and emphasis on could, because I don't think iOS 27 is going to be the update that slows it down, as iOS 27 is actually speeding things up a good bit. Now, with all that said, I am going to do a separate camera comparison, so if you're looking forward to that, or if you found this helpful, then please make sure to rate, comment, and subscribe for more videos, and I'll see you next time.